Guys, so this is What If Deku Was Doctor Strange Part 1. Now, I am doing this like in the middle of the night, but you're probably going to see this later tomorrow, probably at 6 something. I'm probably going to start uploading it doing 6 o'clock. Now, I'm just going to dive right into the video. Now, later, I'm getting a lot better with my editing. I'm just going to put a lot more effort in my videos from now on, because this summer, I'm going to be grinding. Because today, other people might have like a week left of school, but I'm done with school for now. At least I'm gonna go back to school on Thursday to pick up some stuff from my school. But other than that, I'm done with school. It's just over for me. So I'm gonna be grinding on everything. To put it simple, I'm going to be grinding on YouTube every single day. I'm gonna at least try to upload every day, or at least upload every, at least upload 5 videos every week. So yeah, now I am gonna be uploading a lot more Young Justice what ifs, Deku what ifs, and I'm also going to be doing a lot more anime what ifs. Also, I'm going to be putting a lot more effort and be, consistently uploading stop motions and action figure videos. And I'm going to start doing a lot more action figure shorts, because I did that a lot my first couple years, or my first year or couple months of my channel. And yeah, my channel's been around for a year. It's crazy to me, but yeah. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe, and let's just dive right into the video. Now, I start our story off with Izuku Midoriya and his, lineage. Now, lineage per se, basically, I'm not gonna do anything weird. His lineage is typically the same, yeah. Nothing really important about it. Basically, Deku's born in the same, area. He's born in Japan by Inko and Asashi, and he's born quirkless, as you would see, as you would basically not see, but as you would, well, think he's still born quirkless. And Deku's born quirkless. He goes through life basically feeling doubted by himself, by his peers, but at a young age, his parents put him in a more higher school. Since this continuity, his parents would have had higher paying jobs, meaning that they could have put him in a higher private school. They could go to a higher private school, and he would have an interest, and he's still heroing, but he would also have sort of an interest in the medical field, as he would want to be a surgeon or a doctor when he grew up. If he couldn't become a hero, he would still have kind of a glimpse. He would still have like a dream of trying to be a hero. He would still want that, but he also wanted to be a doctor. As from a young age, he would go to a intern for pretty much surgery and stuff like that, figuring out how the anatomy of bodies work up close. And he would start this interning job his 14th birthday, and then he would turn 15, and then for his last year being 15, then that's when he would turn 16, and that's where the beginning of our story, or the canon of the anime story, would have begun in this continuity, as Deku would have been under the wing of a surgeon for about a year, about half a year actually, and a year and a half actually, and he just felt like he could, he wanted to be a doctor. When he was on his way to his house after he would have gotten his driver's license, he would be on his way driving back to his house, as he would have, he would have crashed. As he would have driven down the road, he would have crashed past pretty much the fences and everything, pretty much the blockers, or what is it? These little things, like the thing, like, hold on, wait. I put an arrow right there. But that's basically what Deku drove past, or drove off of. As he would drive off the cliff, heading back to his house from the mountain area where the surgeon would live. He would live in like a mountain type house deep in the forest near Japan, on like a cliffside. As he would have fell down multiple cliff sides, and eventually his car would be totaled, and he would be in critical condition, especially his hands, as his hands would have been smushed in between the handle of the car and stabbed in multiple places by the glass of the front dash of the car. Basically, him having critical injuries of the rest of his body, especially his hands being irreversibly damaged. Later a couple hours later, as the pretty much the police would have found him as he would be missing, and they would bring him to the hospital. Since it would take some long, the damage to his hands were, well, irreversible. Even if they got there earlier, still, the damage was too far great. As Deku would be sitting there in the medical bed, his dreams of becoming a surgeon just being ripped away from him. As he would be a quirkless, rich kid. A quirkless, not rich kid, but a quirkless. He wouldn't be rich, he wouldn't be spoiled, but Deku would have a lot of money since his parents would be paid a lot, but they wouldn't spoil Deku because they did want him to be a spoiled, rich, smozzy, or snazzy brat. As Deku would have been sitting in the hospital bed for weeks, on top of weeks, on top of weeks, about like 3 weeks, as he would have lost all faith in his ability to be anything other than just a failure, as he would be quirkless, plus he wouldn't even be able to get a job anymore, or a job that he wants, as he would have wanted to become a surgeon, or at least a doctor, but with his hands, they can't even be used to pick up simple things like forks or spoons anymore, as when he grabs a cup, it shakes like he can't even hold a grip on it. As he goes back home, doing some rehabilitation for his hands, as in, you know, hand weights and stuff like that, hand squeezers, as he would eventually find that his hands, he just lost patience. He lost all, well, hope, as he would be depressed, and as he would just sit in his room for hours and hours in a day, just leaving his room to go to the restroom and eat, but nothing else other than that. Him just being an introvert for a solid month in a 10-month art training. As he would eventually go online, trying to figure out different ways to try to heal his hands, as he would be one day just motivated to try and make it better. As he would go back on his really rehabilitation for his hands, as he was saying that was going semi nowhere, as he would want to get more. He would want to really try to cure him, or, well, heal himself, as he would look into mystical stuff and also herbs and stuff, just reaching at straws at this point, as his hands would be so damaged, not even Recovery Girl people with healing quirks could even heal his hands for some reason, continuity wise, plot wise. But as Deku went on his journey, him taking some money from his father, him asking for some travel money for his father, him traveling across the globe, eventually coming to some sort of area in Taiwan. As he would have gone there, as he would have came across a type of, bar or something. As he would walk into the bar, as he would see a bar fight instantly start. As they would have started to make a bar fight, them going all around the place, punching and pretty much just throwing people around. As eventually he would see someone in the background have some sort of golden thing on their fingers. They're making a small little type of some sort of sparky force field, some sort of sparky circle that would be some sort of teleportation hole, as one of the people there would have jumped the hole alongside three others, as he would have been confused and overall, kind of impressed by this. As he would look up that it would be no people that had quirks like that, and no people that had quirks that can teleport more than them with a portal, and not with the item, since he would see that the item did it, as he never seen a support item like that before, as he would be interested in it, as he would use, multiple, resources and money into looking up the, very secret arts and stuff like that, as he would eventually come across a type of temple area, as he would have came to the same area, or pretty much, I don't know, building, diner, I don't really know how to call it, just building, as Dr. Strange would go in the movie, as he would go there asking to heal his hands, asking to give him a chance, as since Deku would be a lot more open-minded, as he would have still been kind of, distraught, kind of, not really believing magic all the way, believing the concept of it, but not really the idea of it really being true. As he would still believe that the sling ring thing, the other sorcerer did a couple nights ago in the diner or in the bar, he just thought it was a quirk. But as he was slowly try to believe it more, as the woman there, the head sorcerer at that area, not the not the grand sorcerer, the sorcerer supreme there, but she would have shown him, well, a little bit of a glimpse of the different dimensions, magic, and everything, as he would snap back into reality and being pretty much, well, horrified but also amazed at the sight of all of this, as he would be kicked out saying that you aren't worthy enough, as Deku would be filled with rage as he would sit there hour and hour on the doorstep of that building, begging him to let him back in. Eventually, they would have let him back in, them saying, are you truly ready? If you want to learn this, you would have to dedicate years, maybe even months of your life to this. Months or years of your life to this. As, well, Deku said, I do. Now, pretty much doing the 10-month art training for continuity's sake and also for pretty much, well, plot-wise, for Deku to become, a sorcerer of sorts, as the 10-month art training would have been spread out for a year gap. Yeah, just overall, just in this universe, a summer break is a whole entire year. So, just for continuity's sake. Now, for the first 10 months of that year, now, no, pretty much the last 2 months after the first 10 months would be, well, Deku dedicating his life to the mystic arts, sling rings, teleporting, magic shields, magical whips, enchantments, summoning, parts of monsters, such as what Dr.Strange did in Multiverse of Madness. If you haven't seen it, for the magic wise, not, spoiling the story, magic wise, he uses a lot of, taking surrounding parts of his surroundings of his, his surroundings and magicking them, and also summoning, monster, limbs and stuff like that. Kind of like what he did in the What If show, Supreme Strange, what he did with all of them, monster and stuff like all the monster parts he had. Now, pretty much, well, Deku would have trained his body into learning all sorts of magic. Eventually, him becoming on the same type of level, the same exact level as the current Doctor Strange in comic book lore. Probably the first, like, let's say 2 or 3 years of Doctor Strange being the Sorcerer Supreme, he would be at the same type of not experience, but power level as that Doctor Strange. But experience would be the best type of tool. So Deku wouldn't have any real experience, but he would have a sort of knowledge and power for well being the being the Sorcerer Supreme. As he would have been the Sorcerer Supreme, it would be kind of a test, as he would have been told that he would have to have, ownership over magic, entities and magic creatures that would go running loose, as he would have to keep them in check. The balance of magic and, the imbalance forces of the normal world and the mystical world, keeping them apart, as Deku would be tasked with this for the next year of his training to build up experience, as he would be sent back to Japan, being told to keep the peace between the mystical worlds, since for some reason the mystical, entities and threats that would be popping up in Japan would be a lot more at its high, even dangerous. Even some people going missing in Japan by werewolves, vampires, and even goblins and I can't remember the name. I'll put a picture up right here. Gargoyles. Yeah, I remember now. Gargoyles as well. As you would have been told the task to look over these mystical creatures and mythical creatures and keep them away from the other non-sorcerer world. As he would have been tasked and been given the Sanctum Sanctorum that was designated in Japan instead of, well, America or in New York. The Sanctum Sanctorum would have been designated in Japan other than New York for continuity wise, and also is my universe, my what if, so I do whatever I want. Now, as Deku would have gone to the Sanctum Sanctorum, packing up there and telling his parents that he was going to be pretty much living in a separate home, since his parents would already be working overseas out of Japan, they would have allowed him to do this. Them just wanting to know what address it was. Him telling them the address. Now, basically, as well, Deku would have made himself at home at the Sanctum Sanctorum. As when he would, start living in the Sanctum Sanctorum, looking over the relics that were inside the, secret, house of, well, secrets, I guess. I don't really know the AKA name for the Sanctum Sanctorum. Now, as Deku would have spent, months in there, weeks, basically the last 2 months before the entrance exam, as he would find interest in pretty much, well, the entrance exams, as he would want to go in there, basically him doing this, as he would have no other, pretty much, well, goal other than to just track down and keep the magic world at bay away from Japan, as he would just, for his free time, sign up for UA entry exams and sign his quirk down for just energy manipulation, since magic is kind of like that. It's just manipulating a type of force of matter that we don't understand, that we call magic. Now, after this, Deku would sign up for the entrance exams. After he would go to the entrance exams and walk into the front gates, past Ochaku, him not bumping into her in this continuity, as well, Deku would have made it to the written exam. Now, he wouldn't bump into Ochaku, but you guys can go in the comments and tell me what ship. Should this what if have a ship, or should Deku just be single? But yeah, if you guys want like a love relationship with Deku, just go down in the comments and put a suggestion down. Or if you want me to just make a whole new character to put it in the anime, so Deku could have a unique love interest, just say so. But yeah, so I will be putting in love interest, and I also will be introducing other mystical Marvel characters that Doctor Strange has come across of, and I might put them in the anime, in the what if, like Enchantress, not Enchantress, Enchantra. I don't remember her name, but the type of goddess that was working with Loki that had magic. I don't remember her name. I'm gonna put a picture up. Yeah, I'll put a picture up right here. Now, pretty much, well, Deku would have gotten the written exam done, and as he would go to the, pretty much UA entry exams, the, pretty much physical written, the physical part of the story, the exam, sorry, as he would have gotten ready, as everybody would have gotten in their positions, as Deku would be in type of a dark blue with the red highlights version of his green jumpsuit with those sleeves rolled up, with him having a sling ring and some, leather bandages around his forearms, as he would have started. As Deku would have started to sprint off, as he would have started to jump to robot, passing over the robots and jumping over them. As he would have used magic, using the flames of Contour. I'm just making up names for the magic attacks. The flames of Contour, making some sort of, magical flames that would, well, some reason freeze the robots, as he would have cracked the robots, them being as brittle as an ice cube, as a frosted ice cube, or like an ice cube that was about to crack, as he would have dodged multiple robots, burning them with actual flame magic, and also using some sort of hell flame attack, making a type of miniature fire tornado or fire kamehameha sorts of move, as he would take down hundreds, or maybe even not thousands, but about like hundreds, or like 60 or 70 robots in a matter of minutes, as he would have just been plowing through the robots as fast as possible. Now, as he would use a sling type of, what was it, a magic rope to, well, swing across the fake city, kind of like Spider-Man, but more like, I guess, Batman type, using it as a grappling hook type move, as he would have perched on one roof, as he would have looked over and saw the, well, zero pointer. As zero pointer would have punched the, pretty much, building that Deku was perching on, as a zero pointer would have been targeted to go after people, or pretty much, humans that he sees up close, since Deku would be on a pretty high building. As he would have tried to hit Deku using a huge magic shield to block the attack, but also making him fall off the building and almost die. As he was falling off the building, as he would conjure up conjure up a portal with his sling ring, since it would be on him, as he would have felt the portal and fell right next to the rebel area where Ochako would be. As he would have used his magic to pretty much summon a type of magic stick, and pretty much, a magic construct of a stick, kind of like Green Lantern style, but red, as he would have used it to, prop up the concrete or the rubble off of, or pry the concrete or rubble off of Ochaku. As Ochaku would have gotten up, thanking Deku, but also her still having a sprained ankle, as Deku would have grabbed her and would have started to sprint off. Now, since Deku would train with the, sorcerers and the monks, as they would have trained Deku physically other than just spiritually, magically, so he would have had the same body he would have had in canon doing this event, as he would have still had a All Might type, workout body, just a little bit more perfected. Now, as he would start to run off, and his body would be built more for running and more for running and athleticism, other than just muscle building, as they would have started to run away from the zero pointer. The zero pointer running towards the other players, as they would have been running away from the zero pointer, because it would be a zero pointer. It wouldn't really get any points for taking it out. As Daku and Ochaku would have made their way to Recovery Girl, as he would have dropped off Ochaku at Recovery Girl and would have ran off, as he would have used magic to boost himself up into the sky, taking down more zero pointers with a type of, I guess, Tron type blade move. I'll put a gift or a GFE right here. So yeah, so as Deku would do this to multiple other robots, the siren would have gone off, and eventually everybody would be told to head back to, head back home, as they would wait for the results. As Deku would wait for the results, a couple days later, as he would get the note from Yue from the mail, as the mail would have been guarded by a couple of magic spell, as he would have had to disarm it with a magic chanting. As he would have grabbed the note, as he would have read it, him being told that, he got into Yue. As he would have been excited for this, and really, pumped, as he would have gone to Yue the first day of Yue. Now, that night before he, pretty much woke up, as he would have had to handle some pixies that were messing with a nearby kid in some of the darker parts of Japan, as he would have had to stop them just by a simple incantation. Basically, him still being in his pajamas, since he wouldn't really have to get suited up, since it wouldn't really be a big problem or anything dangerous. Just, it would be, pretty much opening a door to humanity that creatures like the pixies were real. As Dr. Strange, Dr. Strange would have made his way, or Deku would have made his way back to his house, getting ready for the next day. Well, not the next day, but the first day of UA. As he would have gone to UA, walking in the class one day, him sitting down, not really talking to anybody, as Ochaku would have walked in. Him talking to Ochaku and basically saying, you're welcome for me saving you, as Ochaku would have thanked him. As everybody would have gotten pretty much ready and stuff for, the quirk assessments, as Azawa would have walked in instead of just already being in the class. He would have walked in and told the class that they'd get ready and get in their sports uniforms and meet him in the front or in the back of the, school where, they would be doing their testing. As they all would have been told to get ready. As Deku would have gotten ready, him having a sling ring on him as a support item, but since they wouldn't been able to use support items in this continuity, some of the Water Skins Deku needs his stuff to use his, quirk, but basically, pretty much, Deku would have grabbed the ball and would have chucked it as fast as possible, using a little incantation to make it weightless, so it'd be like throwing a bouncy ball, or a small little tiny plastic bouncy ball. As he would have thrown it as fast as possible, him making it heavy again, as he was, right near the end of it being thrown the fastest, as he would have made the same type of score as Bakugo. As for the long jump, Deku would have jumped over it pretty quickly, since he would have trained his body physically for more jumping and sprinting, stuff like that. Now for the race, Deku would have got about third place, and and for the grip test strength, about third place. As overall, Deku would get about third place in the quirk assessments, and they would all get sent back home with the syllabus. As this is where the Doctor Strange, more of the magic part gets pretty interesting. Now after this, everybody was like sent back home, and Deku would have gone back home, as he would have been alarmed by a type of magic alarm system that would be pretty much monitoring the magic levels of Japan, as he would have been pretty much told that some sort of magical being has been spotted in Japan and is causing a ruckus near the dock areas, as a couple thugs were making a deal, as he would have been well, let's just say trafficking something, as something, I guess, dark and evil and power would have showed up there. Some sort of humanoid black figure in the shadow. The pretty much the crooks would have thought it was a hero and started to shoot at it, as the bullets would just pass through it. It opening his eyes, having red eyes. As it would have the silhouette and the body of a normal man, but it being made out of some sort of shadow energy or black magic. As it would have teleported behind the two thugs that were shooting at it, literally disintegrating them by a touch, as they all would have faded into dust, as it would have started to teleport all around the dock area, killing everybody there, even the workers there that had children and wives, as he would have just murdered everybody on the docks, as he would have made his way in Japan, in the area where the docks were in Japan, as he would have walked towards a kid's apartment complex, as he was about to destroy the whole apartment, since he would have had a type of decay touch of power, and also has some sort of ability of a ghost, had the abilities of a ghost of somewhat. Now, as Daku would have shown up there, accurately would have killed everybody at the docks, as he would have been confused on what was going on, as he would have thought it was some sort of shadow demon, as he would have been correct, but it would have been a shadow demon with a purpose. Normally in this continuity, shadow demons, they are only summoned to do the bidding of a witch or sorcerer or dark magic using sorcerer. But in this continuity, this is a shadow demon with a consciousness, a shadow demon with a mind of its own, and has a will or purpose of being here, looking for something. And so we've been looking around, as he would have looked at Deku's neck, seen the eye of Bakamoto. Since Deku going there, he would have had the same gear as Doctor Strange, him wearing as Doctor Strange, or he would have an outfit like this. Basically, outfit similar to this. Scratch that. An outfit exactly like this. As Daku would have used the magic to try to fight back against the Shadow Demon. As the Shadow Demon would have dodged more attacks over and over, basically pretty much taking the hits and the blows of the Hellfire and the magic attacks Deku was throwing at it. As Deku reused a holy attack just out of luck, as normally Shadow Demons aren't really affected by, holy attacks, not that much. But this Shadow Demon would have been phased a lot, as he would have screeched out in the most loudest of most disfigured screams ever. Something that would make your bones chill if you heard it in real life. As Deku would have jumped out the way, basically the Shadow Demon shooting a huge bolt of black or purple-ish magic energy. It disintegrating the whole building behind Deku, as Deku would have seen the whole building collapse, as Deku used his magic to pretty much reconstruct the building, and as he would be preoccupied with that, the Shadow Demon would have gone into the hotel or the apartment behind Deku, as Deku would have been preoccupied with reconstructing the building and turning back time using the Eye of Agamotto, as the Eye of Agamotto would have had the same abilities as it would in comics, but also it's still having the powers as it would have with the time stone, as it would still have a Infinity Stone in it. It being a mixture of the comic version and the MCU version, pretty much a whole. As the Shadow Demon would have walked into the building, as he would have seen a kid, as the child would have been screaming for his mom, and his mom would have been long dead by the Shadow Demon killing his mom. The Shadow Demon would have reached for the kid trying to, save himself, as a kid would have inadvertently well, since the stress of this whole thing, inadvertently triggered the kid, as a kid would have been a, well, a type of reality bender sorcerer, as he would have shot a huge bolt of white energy, blasting or burning the halfway essence of the shadow demon. As the shadow demon's body would have been permanently burned, as it would have had a gray type of burn mark on his shadowy body, as it would have faded away. Basically, it's screeching and teleporting away back into the underworld, it leaving the mortal plane. Now, as the shadow demon would have left, the kid passing out and his father showing up to the house, as he would have moved out of Japan later that month, or not later that month, but later that not moved out, but would have left Japan, or left, pretty much left Japan and moved with, or not moved, but stayed with the father's mother until everything would go down, and find out what happened with the mother. Now, pretty much what happened after that, Deku would have gone back to this Sanctum Sanctorum and try to figure out if was it ever, a shadow demon with a consciousness without without a witch behind it. Because a shadow demon normally, when it has a witch controlling it, it's some sort of marking or, signature on the shadow demon's forehead or back, and sometimes chest. Or it would have the voice of the witch controlling it or dream walking through it. Now, if you don't know what dreamwalking is, just look it up in Dr. Strange Wiki, or just watch the Dr. Strange movie. If you've seen it, you know. Now, pretty much what would happen is doing this, Deku would have looked into the books, but he would have gone to sleep that night, him getting ready for the next day of UA. As he would have, had that shadow demon on his mind, and that's going to be the protagonist or the main problem for Deku to handle, other than UA. And the whole entire mystical part and vigilante part of Deku's story is going to be focused on the first half on that shadow demon, and eventually going to be focused or bleeding into different worlds of magic. Eventually, Deku will come across other Doctor Strange villains, and even Dormammu doing the season finale for My What If, doing the overhaul or One For All arc. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. And as always, guys, have a blessed day.